Hello, this is the TradeSite Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, the 9th of February 2020, ending Friday the 14th, Valentine's Day. Hope you have had a good trading week. It was a good week in Forex. We had trades that built on each other, that carried over for multiple days and led to big winners. And here's why. Look at this. Here's the dollar index daily chart. Actually made a consistent move this week, and that's good for us. So let's take a look at the various major pairs. The euro dollar heading lower, usually the inverse of the dollar index. The pound didn't even seem to move as much on the chart here, but we got some big winners, and we had literally a trade from Wednesday that was still on by Friday and was moving more and more in the money. The Aussie dollar, we talked about the fact that it looked like a breakdown last weekend. It kind of bounced a little bit. Now it's rolled over to new lows. So now it looks like it's actually breaking down under that base. Euro yen, not much new here. Pound yen, very, very flat. This thing's done nothing for a while. Pound Swiss is also very flat. And the New Zealand dollar did make a move, especially late in the week on Friday. If we look at the 30-minute candles of the intra-week action, high to low for the week on the euro dollar is only about 150 pips. So it wasn't amazing, but it was all one direction. Meanwhile, on the pound dollar, this is why we did so well, over 300 pips. Yeah, basically 300 pips for the first time in a while. So we caught the short side on Wednesday and kept it, and got a new one on Thursday, another one on Friday. Made a little money each day along the way and kept half the trade as we went. So that's what we like to do, and made us good money, kind of tripled up on the winnings there. Let's take a look at the economic data coming out the week ahead. Japan's bank lending and current account at 6:50 p.m. Eastern Time. CPI out of China and PPI out of China at 8:30. Monday, economy watcher sentiment. CPI out of Switzerland along with the unemployment rate. Italian industrial production, new loans out of China along with their money supply at some point during the week, actually. Centex investor confidence out of Europe. Nothing here in the U.S. that matters. Housing starts out of Canada, and then building permits out of Canada. Mortgage delinquencies here in the U.S. at some point during the week. Japan's on bank holiday going into Tuesday. UK's retail sales monitor. NAB business confidence out of Australia at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday. Preliminary GDP number out of UK and manufacturing production, construction output, goods trade balance, index of services, industrial production, all out of the UK at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time Tuesday morning. NFIB small business index at 6. That's here in the U.S. Fed Chair Powell testifies to Congress. JOLTS job openings, that starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. We've got more Fed members speaking. Westpac consumer sentiment out of Australia. The M2 money stock out of Japan. Got a rate announcement out of New Zealand. Now we're heading into Wednesday. We've got preliminary machine tool orders out of Japan. Industrial production out of Europe. German 10-year bond auctions. CB leading index out of the UK. Powell continues his testimony to the other House of Congress. Crude oil inventories here in the U.S. 10-year bond auction here in the U.S. Federal budget balance here in the U.S. PPI out of Japan. MI inflation expectations out of Australia. We've got German final CPI on Thursday. EU economic forecasts. CPI out of the U.S. Unemployment claims. That's the weekly initial and continuing numbers at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Natty gas here in the U.S. 30-year bond auction. Business NZ Manufacturing Index out of New Zealand and their FPI going into Friday. Tertiary industry activity out of Japan. German preliminary GDP and WPI. Swiss PPI, Italian trade balance. Flash economic employment change out of Europe and flash GDP along with their trade balance. Those are some big numbers at 5 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday for Europe. Retail sales here in the U.S. along with import-export prices at 8:30 a.m. on Friday, and then capacity utilization and industrial production and preliminary consumer sentiment along with business inventories for the month. None of our majors. No Fed announcement here, obviously, because we just had one 2 weeks ago, and none of the major 3/8 numbers. So there is a little bit of data, but nothing significant. But the markets are moving anyways. Let's hope it keeps up. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week in Forex.